The Red Sox open up a three-game series on Friday night in Atlanta against, their rival, the Braves. It's another edition of Red Sox Now presented by Fan Arch here on YouTube. I'm your host, Mike Antonellis. We want you to subscribe, comment, share, do whatever. We want to grow this channel. We hope you've had a great week. Make sure to follow me on social media at The Radio Mike. As the Red Sox, we know what's been going on. They were swept in Milwaukee. All these series, of course, are big. They're playing without Alex Bregman. They're playing a lot of guys out of position. They're playing with a lot of young guys. They're not playing with Roman Anthony. A lot of things aren't going their way. They're not playing the game the right way. A lot of mental mistakes. And, the division is not something you should be focused on at 9.5 back. It's when you're where you are right now, it's just playing better baseball. Playoff standings, and I've heard a few people go, well, they're only 4 out of the wild card. None of that matters. If you're not playing good baseball, doesn't matter. And you still have to get to 500. You're still behind about 4 or 5 teams. And I don't think that's something that is heavily on the mind right now. It's putting together a good series. And it all starts tonight in Atlanta against a very good Braves team. This will be, Braves are 3 under, but they've had a lot of injuries. They've got Acuna back this series. Holmes is on the mound tonight. And it's Lucas Giolito, which I think is kind of one of those sleeper guys that you signed and you're hoping for big things. I mean, Giolito's an established veteran that you gave a financial commitment to. And, that's the big thing for me when you're looking at the veterans on this club. I think there's some disappointment with that. Even Connor Wong, who I don't know if he's a veteran yet, but we'll get to that. Tanner Houck, not old, but these are guys that have been there. Trevor Story, of course, a veteran. Giolito, you need those guys. The young guys are always going to do this, no matter how good they are. Some never have. Like when Mookie came up, we know Endeavors and Benintendi and those guys didn't struggle. But I don't know if you went back and looked at the roster construction, you were relying on a lot of young guys. I look at some of those veteran-laden teams, even in 18 with Mitch Moreland, Eduardo Nunez. Those guys were ball players. And I don't know if they had the surrounding I think the pieces they brought in were unbelievable. If you look at it. With Bregman, Chapman, Crochet, Buehler, Justin Wilson. But maybe they needed a few more position player-wise. That's another conversation, and maybe that's something they can still attack. And what the Yankees did with Grissom, Bellinger, and Goldschmidt, and you already have Judge. That's 4 pretty good veteran guys around a very young club there. So Giolito tonight, it's a 3-game series, and, the Red Sox, they need to play better. How about this, the words that Alex Cora had about Roman Anthony? He weighed in on WEEI here in Boston. He's knocking on the door to the majors. He's knocking it down, let's be honest. And when we make decisions, I know everybody's going to be happy. I know he's going to contribute. Yeah, he goes on to say we've had conversations. We know at one point Campbell was going to be part of the roster. It just happened on opening day. We knew Marcelo was going to contribute at one point, and he's here already because of injuries. At some point, Roman is going to be here. So it looked like Campbell was not going to be part of the roster maybe on opening day from those comments. I think if Meyer or Anthony were right-handed hitters, they would have been on the opening day roster. I think they really were looking for another right-handed hitter, and even though they probably knew this could hurt his development a bit, they liked the bat enough. But those comments make me think that Campbell wasn't, going to be on the roster, but he is struggling. They're throwing a lot at him. How do we feel about this at first base? I don't love it. You saw the other day with Nick Sogard, who has played a lot more first base. It's that ball hit in between first and second. It's knowing when not to go get it, and a lot of that is just reps. You can't practice a lot of reps. So you're going to have to be okay with mistakes. And you know what? Maybe for Campbell, because he's been so limited in a lot of areas defensively in positions that he's played, maybe first base is his position. It'd be crazy to see. Maybe once he gets out there, he will be more athletic. I do like the fact of an athletic first baseman, but I've said this before. I don't like having a bunch of guys in the big leagues playing out of position. And if you are to do that, and you put Roman Anthony up, and he plays left, and then and Duran plays center, which I don't agree with people of him in center. And then you put Rafaela at second, and then you've got Campbell at first and Meyer at third. That's a lot of people out of position. And look at how you've been playing now with guys in position. So I just worry about that. But again, they're always going to compensate offense, and I do love Roman Anthony. I do think Roman Anthony is going to be a star, and I also think Justin Son Garcia, who hit another home run, the password, I think he is going overlooked right now. I think Garcia has a chance to be a really, really good big leaguer. I really do. But Alex Cora said we will see Campbell at first this series against the Braves. But again, the password is the man. Hey, has Carlos Narvaez changed your view on Connor Wong? He is a rookie. Is he going to go through a bump in the road? Probably. Is he going to hit 290, 300 all year? I wouldn't bet on it. I don't think we need him to. We can't have guys hitting in the 150, 180, 200. A 270 batting average, 265 even, 260 even. And if he hits 12, 13 home runs, this has been a great pickup, great rookie. So you have Yasmani Grandal in AAA. He didn't opt out. What will be the plan for him? Is he just going to play in Worcester all year? Seems weird if he does. I think there's value in Connor Wong because he's a catcher. And you can, it's like pitching. So if the Red Sox have some other areas that maybe they could improve on, and you have Grandal, and you have some other catchers that you think maybe could be in the mix, maybe Wong is someone that you include in the trade because I think he's young enough, and I think he's played a lot of games, and I would love to see that. I'm still been on this Ryan Mountcastle, beating that down, and Hunter Renfroe, and who are some other teams? Nathan Lowe of Washington, a first baseman. I still think you got to get a first baseman in here. I really do. I don't know the experiment of just putting guys over there. Right now having Toro and Sogard and now Campbell, I'd rather have someone established at that position. So does Connor Wong, is he in a trade? Yasmani Grandal has played in the big leagues for a long time. It just seems weird. How long will he be in Worcester? So those are a lot of questions. The Woo Sox continue their series, by the way. Roman Anthony was over last night. Garcia, will he play? Will he be in Atlanta this weekend? I don't think so. And the Red Sox open up that 3-game set in Atlanta with Lucas Giolito on the mound. That's a Friday edition of Red Sox Now. We'll be back with you on Monday. We thank you for watching. I'm Mike Antonellis. Make sure to subscribe, like, and comment on the channels. And we will see you again on Monday. Thank you for watching. Peace and love.